Hello, everybody. Listen to the Fair Weather Podcast. It is your boy 2K Suave. I'm joined with my dog Alex Rodriguez, and we are here to welcome what was not on anyone's bingo card this year was the Denver Nuggets playing the Miami Heat. That was on your bingo card in the beginning of the year.
No. On Israel Gutierrez's bingo card, it was on his, and he's
It
got the receipt
was.
for it. That's crazy. That was going to be my crazy story.
All right, so give me your crazy, wacky story. Well, go ahead, take
That
it.
that was it. I mean, everybody they went through all of like the writers. I forget who he writes for. I don't know if it's the Miami Herald or whatever.
Which is why he said Miami.
Yeah, of course he's a Miami guy. I get that, but he put the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jimmy Butler kept those receipts too. I mean, I shouldn't say receipts. He had that video clip of him saying in Game 7 that they want to be in that same situation and it's going to be different outcomes. But the only person I've seen to have the Nuggets and the Heat in the finals is Israel Gutierrez. So that was my crazy wacky story.
And that was in the beginning of the basketball season.
I was in the beginning of the basketball season because it's been, I don't know how it's not like a big story or anything like that, to be honest with you. I saw it on Twitter, and some guy said, I don't know anybody that had this as their prediction. And then Israel Gutierrez pointed it, circled it, showed the date, and said, I beg to differ. So shout outs to him for
one out of 8 billion people on this planet got it on their bingo card.
That's crazy, man. He should be betting on
he should play the lotto.
Yeah. My other one was going to be today is MSG's birthday. So back in like whatever 19, I don't know what it is, like way back, MSG opened. So today is MSG's birthday of officially being Madison Square Garden.
And the cool thing about MSG is that they haven't changed the name. You realize all these great stadiums that we have, even Staples Center, like they change the names all the time, at least here in the United States, because Wembley's always been Wembley and all the other stuff in Europe. But here, there's no like loyalty to anybody. Like Lambeau Field, luckily they got theirs still with their name, but there's not too many that keep that historic name. Now, as far as like a crazy, wacky stat or something I've seen this week, I could not really think of one. Like to me, first of all, I've been removing myself from the world, and so you know what? The one thing that was kind of crazy though was the whole Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan beef that is never going to end. I don't know what the hell. Maybe he's mad that his son, Michael Jordan's son, is dating his ex-wife. Maybe he's mad about that, and now he's guns a-blazing. But two people who will not get over their beef with Michael Jordan is Scottie Pippen and Isaiah Thomas. Like, it is really crazy that they go out of their way on TV all the time and be like, they slander this dude. Like, okay, like and again, the thing with Scottie, he needs like somebody to speak for him because I understand what he was trying to say. He just didn't know. He's just so angry that he didn't know how to formulate his sentences the right way. In no way in hell did anybody think Michael Jordan was a horrible basketball player, even him. But I do understand what he was trying to say was he was a horrible team basketball player because it was all one-on-one, which is cool. And then, people want to talk about like, it's so funny how people like to, they forget history and they always like the narrative to be different. Everyone always talks about his 63-point performance against Boston, and he lost that game, right? But God forbid LeBron or anybody else dropped 63 on a team and lost, dog, they would drag his name through the mud. So it's like I get tired of all this. Like, there's people on this earth that are unwilling to accept things or conform to anything that maybe their opinion may not be the fact. But like, damn, like don't try to keep carrying your narrative by saying all this crazy shit. And if it applies to one person, it applies to the other person. But that's neither here nor there. That is my crazy, the wackiest thing I've seen this week is that Scottie Pippen refuses to let this shit go.
Yeah.
Also, I saw Bryce Maximus James, LeBron's son. That dude about to be a killer, dog. Oh my god. I
Dude,
mean, we got to give Bronny credit for like really improving over the last year because like everyone had already called this before. And Bronny really, I think Bronny's like needed that kind of fuel to make him a better basketball player. But his dude, Bryce, damn, that's that dude. That dude is for real, man. That's another thing I saw. I'm like, yeah, he's what they say he is. He's LeBron's son. So
I mean, talk about a hell of a growth spurt too for the kid.
shit, yeah. Like his brother just did his prom, and he's already taller than his brother. Like his brother doing his prom, and he's like towering over his brother. So yeah, that young bull, man, he got some, and he's transferring high school, so he's not going to be at Sierra Canyon no more. I don't know what high school he's going to. You know, I'm not that plugged into high school athletics, but he is transferring from Sierra Canyon. So, you know, all the Kim Kardashians and all of the world coming to the games. I don't know if they will anymore, but
Yeah.
that's the other thing. But we got a lot to get to today. Obviously, if you are watching the telecast, Miami and the Denver Nuggets on Israel Gutierrez's bingo card, they advanced to the NBA Finals. One was a lot, one was very boring, Nikola Jokic and them, they've been chilling for about a week now. They made easy work of the Los Angeles Lakers. And then Miami, they were up 3-0 as well. Now, when we were on this show last, I asked, do you think Miami has a chance? And you and Julia both said 0%.
You mean
I said,
Boston? You mean
huh?
Boston?
I mean,
You mean
Boston
Boston?
had a chance to come back and win the series. Although they didn't do it, you got to admit
Impressive.
that shit got a little crazy now.
It did, but they shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with.
Who, Boston?
Yeah, Boston shouldn't have been
No,
in that
of
situation.
course not. They're the number one, the number two seed. Like, bruh, we talk about last week. I talked about Dirk Nowitzki's run to the NBA Finals back in 2011, and then comparing Nikola Jokic's run this year to the NBA Finals. But you really got to give all the credit to Jimmy Butler. They knocked off the number one seed, Milwaukee. They knocked off the New York Knicks and number four, yeah, number four seed, and they knocked off the number two seed, Boston. They literally knocked off three teams in the top four in the East and made easy work of them. Boston, maybe not as much easy, but I think Miami made it harder on themselves by not being able to shoot some games. But yo, you got Jimmy Butler has been on another planet right now as far as just gathering the troops. And you talk about it, like the only couple people can do that in this league. LeBron can do it, Jimmy can do it. It's like really hard. You know who another person can do it? Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul, everywhere he goes, he at least turns that shit around. Houston, Phoenix, OKC the year he was there. Like he's always done a good job with that. But
And
it's
debatable.
different because he's a point guard. He's short,
I think
but
I know, but I think with OKC it was more impressive because they literally got rid of all the superstars and brought in him in Chris Paul, and they made it to the play-in tournament, or were like the ninth or the eighth
no,
seed or something.
they were the sixth or seventh seed.
Yeah, they were a
Yeah,
low seed. But that was impressive.
that was
But
very impressive.
I mean, he's just a vocal point. He's an all-around point guard. So
Yeah.
I'll never dog Chris Paul. I appreciate his game, but Jimmy Butler and the emergence of Caleb Martin, we always love to see
Woo!
an unsung hero in the playoffs and
Gabe
the
Vincent too in the couple games.
yeah, the emergence. I don't want to say a superstar, but a budding star in these guys. And anybody on the Heat outside of Jimmy Butler has a fairy tale story to tell you.
Yeah.
Most of these guys that are playing are all undrafted,
I mean, Jimmy
and they're
Butler has a fairy tale story too. Honestly,
yeah. I mean, you can carve it up how you want for
right?
Jimmy,
He
but
was the 15th man on the roster when he was in Chicago. He wasn't even supposed to be this good.
no, we know that, but
Yeah.
still, like Jimmy Butler has carved out a superstar role for himself. These other guys, Jimmy said it best. They're not role players; they're teammates, and
Mm-hmm.
that was the most professional thing I've heard in a while in sports. Like the guy's a class act. I'll never like. I know he spanked my team, and I'm over that, man. I can't be mad at Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite players because He just looks like someone you can connect with, someone who's fun to be around, loves the game of basketball, stands
Say
up for
that
his
last line again.
loves the game of basketball, stands up for his teammates.
One more time.
Loves the game of basketball, stands up for his
And
teammates.
that's where it is.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate people who they love the game of basketball. And not only the game of basketball, but like they love, like they don't take it for granted. You can tell every night when he goes on that court, he does not take anything for granted. Like he works his ass off all the time. You can just see it. I mean, you see the results. The results speak for themselves. And for them to be in this situation, first of all, they lost the playing game to Atlanta. Like, what the hell? It was kind of easy to kind of just write them off at that point, and they kind of just stuck with it. They lost Victor Oladipo, they lost Tyler Hero, and they stuck with it, and they find themselves only 4 wins away from an opportunity to win a championship. Now, kind of looking at the other side of things, so we got Denver. Obviously, they were the number 1 seed in the West. They were fine in the West. They were definitely fine in the West, and they look like. I mean, it's so hard for me to call the Denver Nuggets a juggernaut, but I'll give you this, right? You have been on the forefront of giving them their credit. So I'll give the floor to you right now. How does Miami stack up against this Denver roster?
It's hard for me to say because if you look at Denver's roster, it's a very complete roster, whether you want to believe in it or not.
Oh no,
it
is.
has the
It
pieces.
is. My bad.
It has the pieces. It really has the pieces to be a complete roster. They have a good bench. They have a young bench. Even the third stringers, they're young and they can get out there and hoop if they need to. But we know we're not going to see them. They've got the veteran leadership in a DeAndre Jordan in a KCP. You've got an MVP, 2-time MVP in the Joker. You've got Jamal Murray, who's just, I've been saying for so long, once healthy, you'll get to see the kind of player that he is.
Yeah.
So I think looking at it from Miami's point of view it's like David and Goliath is what it is. Is the best way I can say it. And Miami has some the right seasoned veterans on the team. Kevin Love, every time he's been in the playoffs, we've seen the stat, has never missed the finals. So Kevin Love is there again. Crazy stat. Kyle Lowry, we make fun of his weight. We make fun of his ass. We make fun of, we were saying it all year. They need to trade him. They need to get his ass out of there. And who was the person who advocated for him? Jimmy Butler said, my dog ain't going nowhere. We ain't getting rid of Kyle. They realize what they have in that team. Yes, they were going through growing pains, and yes, they were going through losses that they weren't expecting to have, be more dominant team. But they're just they're a wild card, and I don't think they're afraid of anything. They, like you said, you went through the whole list of teams. They took down the number 1 Milwaukee Bucks. Granted, if Giannis was healthy 2 of those games, we don't know how that would have ended up. But still, you won that series. It doesn't matter.
Like, still, Milwaukee did not want that matchup in the first round, regardless if he was healthy or not.
No, and nobody wanted that.
Nobody,
matchup.
Yeah. I didn't want that matchup. I was like, please, God, no.
Not a single person did. And if you were like, bring on the Heat, like, hey, I said it. I said, bring on the Heat. And the Heat got turned on for me. Then you see the Knicks in the second round. And hell, the Knicks, as much great shit the Knicks did, and knocking out Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs, and everybody was writing the Knicks off, we get written off by Jimmy Butler. And now Miami starts to become a favorite at shit. But then you go see the team that everybody thought was the number 1 team in the East. And we'll get to Boston and talk about them in a little bit, but you knock them off. And it's something in Miami. It's good front office, it's good coaching. It's good atmosphere over there, and we would think it wouldn't be that way because it's South Florida. Yeah. There's so much temptation. There's all of that, but you've got the right front office. You've got Pat Riley, mob boss out there, just putting the encouragement in your guys, getting the right the pieces and players for your team. You've got Eric Spoelstra, who's a phenomenal head coach.
Yeah,
I don't want anyone ever to dog that man because the guy has worked from the bottom to the top, literally rewinding video cassette tapes to coaching the team. You got Jimmy Butler, who dude is the weirdest guy in the world. Listen to Ed Sheeran Game 6 when they go in the locker room after they lose. Like Jimmy Butler is just a man of the people
Yeah.
and knows how to get those guys to play right. So
Oh, also he's going to copyright or trademark
Jimmy Butler,
Himmy buckets.
yeah, Jimmy
Smart
Butler,
guy. He's a very
yeah,
smart guy too.
man's a businessman.
Yeah.
Beantown Jimmy, he's just I don't think like if you want to play stack it up against it, I just don't think they're afraid. And I'm not the kind of person to say how do we match up because they're gonna find a way to get shit done. What did somebody say who was on the podcast? Forgot who it was. They said I didn't lose to Jimmy Butler. I lost to Max Strus, and that was the truth
Yeah.
in that series. I think it was Sammy who said it, or maybe it was someone on the Knicks podcast
Yeah.
that's the truth. You're losing to these guys that are undrafted, but we shouldn't hold them to that stature. Just because you're not drafted doesn't mean you get a fair shot. They obviously have a fair shot, and they're running away with it. Look what Caleb Martin did. If you wanted me to give MVP of that series, they would have went to Caleb Martin.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that's what Jimmy Butler was thinking too. But because that's all you've heard the entire time, and he's been at par with Caleb Martin that series, you're going to give it to Jimmy Butler. I understand that, but Caleb Martin, for what he's been able to put out, has been amazing, and I applaud the Heat on how they move, the players they bring in. They don't ever have any problems in the locker room, nothing like that. Yeah, we see it, but it's more like, the little brother's upset at home. We need to take care of this, but they're shit, man. Like I'm still sticking with the Heat. I told you, I'm rocking with the Heat.
So what are your keys to victory then? Start with Denver. Like what do you have to do right to stop this hot ass Heat team from upsetting them as well?
If I'm Denver, like they're perfect offensively and defensively. They're gonna have to contain Jimmy Butler and whoever the number 2 hot guy is on the team. And I don't mean looks. I mean like who's scoring the most.
You didn't have to clarify that. It's okay, bro.
Pause. Exactly.
You're good, bro. You're good.
Whoever shows up, because we get Caleb Martin sightings, we get Max Strus sightings, we get Gabe Vincent sightings. Bam Adebayo is going to have a hell of a tough game. Like
I was going to ask you about that because Bam was not that impressive in the Celtics series, and you could talk to a lot of these Heat fans. Heat fans are all consistent about how they think, and they all want to be done with Bam Adebayo. So, I mean, what's your assessment on that?
Bam Adebayo is a power forward playing center. He's asking to do a lot,
Small.
but we can dog him all we want. But he's 2-time defensive player, second team. Like you're on that list. If you're on that list, you have to have some accolades for something. So I give him credit where credit's due, but you're going up against a 2-time MVP and a guy who can cook you in any way. Whether
should have been 3-time MVP.
Should have been 3 times, whatever you want. I don't want to rain on your parade, bro.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good.
If we look, I don't want to go talk about that anymore. But Bama's have to contain this man. That's what's going to be tough, and I just don't see it happening. There may be some plays he gets it done, but Joker's he's gonna average at least 10 across the board, no problem on all 3 of the major stats.
But you're still rocking with Miami?
Of course, I'm rocking with Miami. Okay. I'm going for the underdog mentality, but for what Denver has to do to contain Miami is contain Jimmy. Someone's going to have to get in his head, and I don't see a player on that team that gets in Jimmy's head. Jimmy is like, I don't know, he's in another world.
You leave people like that alone. Like you just leave them alone.
You do. The last person that you want to, I shouldn't say the last person you want to, but the one thing you don't want to do is have Jimmy Butler beat you every night.
Yeah. On this team, that's the last person you want to piss off.
They're going to have to control the 3 ball because the Heat are fantastic at that. But also,
are they really though?
In the playoffs, they've been
better, but
they've been better. I'm not saying they're the best, but they know how to move the ball around. So do the Nuggets. These teams match up to me very well, except out of the center position. The only thing that's questionable to me is that position. That's it. Other than that, And then the other thing is like there's more named players that we know on Denver than we would know on Miami. If we want to look at it as a whole of the world looking at this, they could probably name you more Denver players than they could Miami players if they weren't watching the playoffs right now. So I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be a 7-game series, I think.
But what's the one thing, if you have to say just one thing Denver has to do this? Is it just contain Jimmy and that's it?
Contain who's the second guy who's on the team, because Jimmy's going to be Jimmy. They're going to have to contain Jimmy. That's a given. But whoever's the guy, because once they find that player, the Heat ride the shit out of the second fiddle on the team. Mm-hmm. And we're expecting it to be Bam. But Bam can't get it done. Bam's just down there to be a body, grab boards, block shots, be a bully down low, but he's not. And we've been preaching this for so long. We've been wanting to see that jump from Bam. And I mean, granted, he averaged 20 points a game this year. Good job. But in these playoffs, you've been
16.
I don't
16 and 9
in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you've got to do more, which shows that their supporting cast is just that good, that you can create Bam as the decoy, and everyone's like, oh, it's going to Bam, but then they kick it out to Gabe Vincent, or then they throw it out to Kevin Love in the corner or something. So containing that second guy, whoever it's going to be, because the defense is there, the shot making is there. We know Denver moves the ball around well, but who is the second guy on this Miami Heat team? Because it's a mystery box, and that's what they're going to have to do. Are they going to group Caleb Martin? Is it going to be Gabe Vincent? Who is it going to be?
Will it be Tyler Hero coming back game 3?
That's another thing too. That's a crazy thing, because I know they were talking about it, and I've been talking to Heat fans, and they're like, "The shit ain't broke. Don't fix it."
I know.
Let Tyler Hero sit. Let him get his ring if they win on the bench. Yeah. You know, that'll be the best thing they can do.
And what was the example I used last week? Orlando Magic. They were rocking and rolling in that NBA playoffs, and they got to the Lakers. And then when they played that start of that series, Jameer Nelson, who had missed the whole playoffs, they inserted him back into the starting lineup, not coming off the bench, into the starting lineup where Rafer Alston has been dominating, and completely just messed up the chemistry. The whole thing got thrown off. So yeah, you're right. Like Miami's playing with house money. Like this is why it's going to be a competitive series, because a lot, I've been seeing all these experts saying it's Denver should win this easily, but the reason why it won't be easy for Denver is because Miami has nothing to lose. And when you play against somebody who has nothing to lose, bro, like that's the scariest team to play against. So they go out for all the loose balls, like Caleb Martin just has a game where he's just dominates the other team. Gabe Vincent has a game where he dominates the other team. It's like Bam defensively will do something that's incredible, like every now and then. Like Jimmy's gonna and then Kyle Lowry, he's gonna. He hasn't been the best in his playoffs, but he hits some shots.
He keeps him calm.
Exactly. He's a point guard. He does his job as a point guard. So the reason why, like for me, what Denver has to do is understand that Miami is not an 8 seed, right? Like you look at the 1 versus 8, and everyone's going to be caught off guard by that. Like you're going to look in the history books like 20 years from now. Like think about it. Remember the Knicks played San Antonio in the 99 finals. Y'all was the 8 seed, right? And y'all played against a young Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and at the end of the day, Patrick Ewing was hurt in that series, but at the end of the day, you had talent. You had Allen Houston, you had Latrell Sprewell, you had Childs, you had Ward, you had good players, right? Miami, just the same way. They have good players. So they were just in the NBA Finals a few years ago. Like they've been into the most NBA Finals over the last 16 years or something like that. They have the most NBA Finals appearances. That's just like they talk about the Heat culture, the Heat way. Pat Riley he knows what he's doing. So Denver needs to understand that this is not an 8 seed. This is
what I think it is. What I think it is they retired Michael Jordan's number. They're the only team that outside of the Bulls.
That shit's still soft to me. That shit is still soft to me.
That is soft, but still, maybe it's good karma. Maybe it's good karma.
Man. How you gonna retire another man's jersey that destroyed you in the playoffs? That's the equivalent if the Toronto Raptors go retire LeBron's jersey.
Yeah, exactly. I I got some breaking news from you as of like 15 minutes ago.
What's up?
Shannon Sharp has reached a buyout to end his tenure with Skip Bayless.
No way.
Way.
Whoa. How come
Yep.
I didn't get that information?
Because you slow, bro. You haven't been on the social media lately.
Yeah,
Like,
look, guys, sometimes we talk about mental health and stuff. Sometimes you just got to get away. And I tried to get on social media last week, Sunday. I went on a boat, you know what I'm saying? I was having a good time. And I started just scrolling through. And I was like, yeah, this is why I can't be on social media. It's all negative comments about everything. People clowning everybody. Everyone's trolling. Damn.
yep.
Damn, Shannon Sharp.
But I mean, on the
Woo.
opposite side for Miami, for them, what they have to do, it's going to be a lot of work. But I love their work ethic. I love the way that they approach games. I love the way that they approach losses. I love the way that the team holds each other accountable for things. I love the way Jimmy. Best thing when they said all these guys are role players, and he said no, they're teammates. Best fucking thing I've ever heard in my life from a from
Yeah.
a player
You
because
can
we
see it
all
on the court. They have full trust and faith in each other. Like it's beautiful to watch.
it is, and like we can say, oh, they have to make a name for themselves, whatever. No, these guys, they're NBA players.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to make a name for them. It's up to some idiot team to pull Max Strus away from the Miami Heat and overpay him to think he's a superstar and not an efficient role player on their team like he is for the Miami Heat. So,
Efficient teammate. Be nice.
efficient teammate. I got caught up in that. I apologize. Yes, an efficient teammate as he is. But Jimmy knows that all these guys are scrubs into the world and maybe to the NBA world. But Jimmy knows that these guys have gotten in there and he's rocking with them. And I appreciate that. But the thing that they're going to have to do, it's going to be tough for them. They're going to have to find a way to contain the Joker. That's going to be hard for them to do. And they're going to have to be able to shoot the ball efficiently from the 3-point line because Denver's the kind of team that can shoot threes and get ahead real quick. But time in and time out in the playoffs, I saw the Heat do that. The Heat aren't a stupid team. The Heat, everything that I wanted the Knicks to do is what I wanted the Heat to do. They weren't taking stupid threes. They weren't giving a guy who's not a good 3-point shooter the ability to shoot those threes. They are efficient on both ends of the courts on defense and offense.
You want a fun
And
fact?
what's a fun fact?
Who do you think? So I'll just tell you anyway. The Miami Heat are averaging 13 made field 3-point shots a game in the playoffs. The Denver Nuggets 12. So the Denver Nuggets are averaging one less 3-pointer than Miami Heat, and Miami's shooting it a little bit better from the three as well. So they have found that juice and that lightning in the. I mean, even without Tyler Hero, right? Like they found lightning in a bottle, and they just running with it.
The only way I bring Tyler Hero into the picture is if somebody in the supporting cast goes down.
Of course, yeah.
Duncan Robinson, like we've been riding Duncan Robinson all year, saying you paid this man money to do what? This is what you paid him for. He knows the way to play in the Heat system, and he's out there just making buckets like he needs to do. So they've got to contain the Joker. That's obviously the biggest thing, but they're going to have to match. And you just pulled up the number. They're going to have to match him because Denver shoots out the gym all the time, and it's anybody on that team can shoot a three. I don't think there's one player, maybe DeAndre Jordan, but we're not going to see DeAndre.
Maybe DeAndre Jordan,
but they all can shoot threes. Surprisingly,
which is very true. Actually, out of the people who played for real, yeah.
Even Jokic with the fucking let me see the rock, nephew.
Let me just throw this thing over. Yo, I tried. I was playing basketball last night. I tried it. That shit don't work, bro. Hit it at the top of the backboard. I was like, yeah, it don't work.
That's what you expected. And I think they're gonna have to find a way to get in Jamal Murray's head because I feel like he's like I'm back. I'm him. I'm back. And if there's anyone that can do that, it's Jimmy Butler, man. I feel like Jimmy shut that shit down.
I was about to say Jamal strikes me as somebody who won't get rattled, But if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Jimmy.
Snake charmer, bro. He's a snake oil salesman, is what he
Or
is.
like they put Udonis in the game for like, just to check somebody real quick. Ooh-wee.
Udonis ain't gonna go in until Game 7, and they're up by 8. That's the
They
only way.
need, but he needs to get one more NBA Finals of on-court appearance, just for the history books. You know what I mean? But I mean, the way I look at both teams, obviously, it's easy to say, "Oh yeah, Denver's deeper," but honestly, they're really kind of the same team, right? Outside of the fact,
that's the best thing. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
They are, but we focus on names. That's what we're
exactly. That's what I was about to say. Is that we see Jokic, this 2-time MVP, and then you got Jimmy Butler, the guy who's just every playoff Jimmy, right? But then when you break it all down, the thing that Denver has going for them, and Jamal talked about it a couple weeks ago, offensively, they are a juggernaut. They are very hard to outscore, and that's the thing with Denver. You got to either outscore them or play the best defense in your life to stop that kind of team. What Miami has going for them is that they understand the assignment when they say, I got to play my best defense. Like, so it's like a battle of like, it's like, what do they say? Like a force and a thing collide. I don't know, whatever it is. Like, you got this dirty, grimy Miami team and this like flashy, glossy, but the Joker's dirty, and it's a crazy matchup, but it works. Like if you take the seeds of like the number 1 versus number 8 seed away, we take the location not being Denver or Miami, and we just looked at 2 teams and how they play. It's the perfect NBA Finals, right? Like
it really is. It really is.
And unfortunately,
I saying that it's going to be the most like unwatched NBA Finals.
And that's what I'm about to say. Unfortunately, it's not going to get the ratings that it deserves because the star power, like. There's no Kevin Durant. There's no Steph Curry. There's no LeBron James. There's no
fuck them.
There's no Kawhi ever anymore. It's just like, damn. So like they got to rely on the international superstar Nikola Jokic and then Jimmy Butler, who's just really not that well known yet. You know what I mean? And he does a good job marketing himself, but he's not out on the level of those other guys that the NBA goes out of their way to market. You know what I mean? So. For me, like, the keys to victory is honestly, it's just going to be both teams need to play as good as defense as possible. Both teams psychologically cannot get ruined because if Miami Heat have a psychological advantage on you, it's over.
Here's one last thing I'll say. So for all those NBA players or NBA players, NBA fans or LeBron haters or the people that say, oh, they don't play any defense or oh, basketball's dead because it's only one player and one team. This is what you want to watch. This is your final right here to watch because you get to see good fundamental basketball once again, and you get to see teams that know their assignments.
You know what? These last few years have been pretty much like that. Like last year, I know Steph Curry's star power, but what do we like about Golden State? They play basketball beautifully. This is beautiful basketball. And you have the emergences of Kuminga that series and Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole. So it wasn't, and Gary Payton Jr. So it wasn't like it was just one player. Like that was team basketball. Boston with Udoka was the same way. They played perfect team basketball. Before that, we had Miami and Los Angeles, and we've had Milwaukee and Phoenix. They've been pretty good matchups when it comes to like overall team quality versus overall team quality rather than big 3 versus big 3. So I think the NBA, with their collective bar, whatever they've done, they've made big 3s obsolete at this point. Like, yeah, you ain't gonna win like that anymore. You got to build a team. So I think they're putting a lot of onus on like the owners and the GMs to like do better in the front office because your best players are leaving. So do better in the front office so that you can build a roster. And we know what Denver did. And I'm still that Aaron Gordon pickup. I love that pickup. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, love the pickup. Bruce Brown, love the pickup. It's like they even got Reggie Jackson, who has no playing time. With the Clippers, he was like the closer.
Starting point guard. He's a starting point guard for him.
And then here, they just got him on ice, just waiting. Like, okay, we still got him, So Man, it's gonna be a fun series. Who would you put as like your X factors? I'll say mine with Denver. It's so easy to say, Michael Porter Jr. or Aaron Gordon, but I think mine's gonna be like Bruce Brown. I feel like the what he can bring off the bench defensively, because you're gonna need tough minded people to play against Miami, and I think he's a very tough minded. He's not rattled like that. So for me, for Denver, is going to be Bruce Brown, and then for Miami, I mean, take your pick. I mean, I think what we saw Caleb Vincent do, Caleb Martin do in Game 7, in Game 7 on the road, like no fear whatsoever. That's a scary man now. That's a very scary man that you cannot play with. So, yeah, Caleb Martin and Bruce Browns would be my X factors.
I think for me with Denver, I'm gonna go KCP
Mm-hmm.
only because I've just loved his maturity growing as a basketball player and a team that he won a championship with, sending him off to the Wizards, which made no
For
sense.
Russell freaking Westbrook.
Yeah.
Golly.
I mean, when we saw that, we all thought maybe it could work, but it seemed good. But you see a team that notices that and is like, hey,
Yeah.
we lost Jeremy Grant. We're gonna go get Aaron Gordon to replace it, and what a
Yeah.
great replacement that was. And we need to get another shooter. Whatever that guy Campazzola, whatever his name was, that was there.
Campazzo.
Campazzo, whatever his name was,
Yeah.
weird fucking gabagoo name. You go get this guy and plugs in perfectly. Plus, he's got a ring and championship pedigree. So you got one guy with a ring on that team that knows what it's like. In the Heat case, like you said, pick your poison. But honestly, as great as a Game 7 Caleb Martin had, I know he's gonna play. Don't get me wrong, but I see it as like a Trojan horse. I see that as like a Trojan horse that people are gonna be like, "Yo, this guy's a real deal. We gotta shut him down."
Yeah.
And it's gonna allow guys like Max Strus, and that's gonna be my guy. Is Max Strus that's gonna come up big for them in shots and things like that. But also my other X factor is Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is people are saying, "Oh, he's a shell of himself," blah blah blah. When Kyle Lowry is on the floor, the Miami Heat are calm, making shots, and are getting open to where they need to be.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry sees it. He's a pure point guard, and he doesn't have to run the offense through him anymore. And it's beautiful to see. He comes off the bench, and he gives you just as many minutes as a starter. So I say Strus or Lowry for me are going to be those X factors.
All right. Cool. So you rocking with Miami? How many games? 7?
7-game series, man. I'm looking for very entertaining basketball against the David and Goliath type shit
Yeah.
to me.
So conventional wisdom, obviously, if you're a gambling person, you would look at the team and how many good players they have and blase. It's for me, it would be very easy to just pick Denver as well, because honestly, Milwaukee should have dominated, Boston should have dominated, New York, y'all actually played well considering everything. You
Yeah.
did, like Boston and Milwaukee proved to us that it really don't matter. So I'm gonna ride. I'm gonna trust you on this one, because you gotta understand. You made me become a believer in Denver, but I still don't really believe in them. Even though they did what they did to LeBron and they did well against Phoenix, it's like I still something's left for me. I don't know.
I believe in Denver, and the Joker's like become one of my new favorite players. I just like his mannerisms.
Yeah.
I think he's a great person. I love when LeBron had to choose between him and marketing. He was like, I'll come down there, it's me for sure. Like, he doesn't get the respect that he deserves, but now we're seeing in the playoffs, we're like, God damn, this guy's really, really good. We're really taking him for granted because he's in a not a marketable city, but he means so much.
Even though Denver should be, but not a basketball market though. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But there's something about Jimmy Butler that I've been in love with for a long time, and pause. But like, he's just that type of player, man. That like, I met him at Ducky's in Tampa. He trains in Tampa, at USF, and in the off season sometimes. And cool guy, talk to me, real nice, real sociable. And it's just the way he carries himself. There's just something it's mysterious. Like you don't know who he's like that one guy like you really, really want to be friends with, and he's just super mysterious. And he's
Yeah.
super always have your back.
He's
It's like
Dos
the meme,
Equis. He's Dos Equis. He's
like,
the most interesting
yeah,
man in the world.
he's like the meme good guy Greg, man. You
Yeah.
know, that's exactly who he is. So Jimmy, I always gotta rock with him, man. And I'm gonna stick with it. But like whoever wins this finals, I'm happy for. Whether it's Denver's first one, whether it's Jimmy's first one.
Who do you think is being like think about it. Both Miami and Denver have both different reasons to be disrespected the most, right? Like they've been disrespected. No one's believed in Denver all year, except for you and a few other people. And no one's believed in Miami, especially when they lost to Atlanta Hawks in the playing game. But who do you think has like a bigger chip on their shoulder? Because
Miami.
remember what I said about Dirk when Dirk went through that, because Dirk went to the NBA Finals in 06, was up 2-0 on Miami, and Miami came back and Dwayne Wade did that series, right? Fast forward a couple more years, Dirk was the MVP, and the Golden State Warriors, that version of the Golden State Warriors, upset them in the first round, 2 versus 7 seed. So Dirk had to take his lumps. And then when he finally got that chance again, there was no turning back. Do you think Jokic is already there where he's like, does he have more lumps to take? Or is he like, nah, I got to go get this now?
I don't think so. I think Jokic is I think Jimmy has in the Miami Heat have the bigger chip on their shoulder because everyone's been writing them off all year. They should have been a top 4 seed. They should have been this.
They should have.
Yeah, they should have. But it's all about when it clicks, and when it clicks, you run with it. I think the Joker's fine. I don't think it's win it all now. I think that Mike Malone, I've been preaching, is a great head coach.
Yes.
He's the kind of guy you want in a knife fight. You know, he's definitely that guy. He's a guy that gives you the spike bat. They're fine. They get the right pieces, and they have been for the last couple of years. It's just been injuries. Like Jamal Murray is pivotal. He needs a second fiddle. And Jamal Murray can easily leapfrog him, and we forget about him because Jamal Murray in the bubble, I don't think we were paying attention to Jokic, but Jokic was still doing the same shit.
Yeah, he was doing the same. He was.
But Jamal Murray was putting up 50-point games, 40-point games. So that's the kind of thing that simpletons look at. They look more like, oh, he put up, 45 points and 5 assists and 6 rebounds. Meanwhile, the Joker's doing all the dirty work down low, and he puts up 20, 10, and 11. So,
do you know what the Joker is shooting from 3 in the playoffs?
I don't even
47.4%. How? Like 47.4% throwing up behind the back 3. I mean, it's Jamal Murray 40%, Michael Porter 40%. If the 3 is falling for these boys, it can get a little disgusting.
And I told you that's a factor. Miami's gonna have to be the same. They're gonna have to match it. And if anybody can match it,
I'm picking Miami to win this series because at the end of the day, when you have two teams that are essentially they're a lot more evenly matched than we think, the wild card to me is the coaching. And I know Mike Malone is a good coach. Eric Spoelstra is a Hall of Famer as we speak. Okay, and he's time and time again reminded you this is why I'm him. So, and I mean, I saw it in Game 7. My biggest thing, and we're about to get to the Boston Celtics right now. Actually, I'll just get there right now. I'm picking Miami. You got Miami too?
I got Miami and 7.
So keeping on the coaching thing, right? My biggest issue with this Boston Celtics from the first tip to Game 7 of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals of this 2023 season has been Mazzulla the whole time. Like, I've not been a fan of his at all. And he might have saved his job by not getting swept and making it interesting. I don't think he did anything to impact any of that. To me, that was just the Miami Heat couldn't shoot. Like they got cold from 3.
They did.
And the Celtics weren't making shots. Like it literally is a make or miss league, right? Joe Mazzulla had no impact on any of that. I don't see no plays ran. I don't see no He doesn't inspire me when they do his audio shit. Like, I don't get it with him, right? I like they needed if this series would have been different, it's because Udoka was the coach. So now we see Boston is out of the playoffs. Not they fall short of the second straight NBA Finals appearance. People are up for contracts, and we know what's going on with Jaylen Brown. They had a brand new coach, 34 years old. Jason Tatum, he's a great basketball player. What was he? First team, right? First team All NBA. So they know what they got with him, and then they got all this other stuff circling around. What's next? Where do they go from here? Like, what do they need to do, and what do you expect to happen?
So Sammy sent me a clip earlier today, and I agree with it. It was on it was on Draymond's podcast. He said these type of teams, they're not born overnight. Like he even said, even the Warriors weren't born overnight. And you alluded to like some of the teams that the Mavericks played, and it was like the Warriors trying to figure out who's who on this team and what pieces to get. Draymond said
the Warriors were kind of built like all they did was change out Mark Jackson, and the dynasty was born.
They did. I get that, but at the same time, Draymond alluded to the fact that they had to get pieces around them to be better. They had to go get who was it? He mentioned Andre Iguodala's and the Sean Livingstons and all these other guys.
Oh yeah, they've always built a beautiful bench over there. Yeah,
they did. Just like Miami has carved up and done it, just like Denver has done over the years. But he said that this team is in that same stage. They are getting there. Like you have to keep the core pieces together. The Jason Tatums, the Jaylen Brown, you got to keep them together and then get the right pieces in there. Granted, they had the right pieces in there, but maybe there was one or two missing in there. And
Danilo Gallinari.
Maybe Danilo could have been it. I mean, that's who Vic has a hard on for.
I know.
But there's my biggest thing with that team is I feel like there are a bunch of young kids that don't want to listen to an old man. And I feel like Al Horford knows his role on that team and wants to be vocal, but he's outshined by a lot of TikTokers on that team. And it's just like Al Horford really doesn't have much left in the tank. Let's be honest with ourselves. Like as much as
he's played a lot longer than I thought he would. Like his last few years, remember he was in OKC. Like people forget that season ever existed. He got traded to OKC, and they basically benched him. Completely benched him. And since he's been back, he's been Al Horford again. Like crazy.
Yeah. He's the right player, and they realize they're like, shit, what we're missing is that veteran leadership. Mm-hmm. And they brought him there, and Blake Griffin's there, but we all know Blake Griffin wants to just have a comedy show or some bullshit. So
Blake Griffin is not the leader I want in my locker room. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely not. But he's a veteran on the team. But it's getting the right players in there and building around it. I agree with you, Udoka. Like, all I know is what beginning of the season when they got Mazzulla, it was down to Mazzulla or Udoka for the head coaching position, and they chose to go with Udoka, and Mazzulla stayed on the bench. Now that the season's done, it's reported that 4 assistant coaches are going to Houston to go coach with Udoka. So.
He about to be
now we're going to see who gets brought in. But also, don't forget, as much as we want to give shit to Mazzulla, Brad Stevens is still upstairs. So we don't know if really Brad Stevens is pulling the strings or not here. He could just be a puppet. So
it's hard to do that because people said the same thing. Think about it. People said the same thing about Eric Spoelstra with Pat Riley upstairs. They're like, it must just be Pat Riley running this team. But sometimes the coach, it's really hard to tell a coach.
It's symbiotic though. With I'm sure the first couple of years it might have been Pat Riley doing it.
Yeah.
But Pat finally gave the leash and started letting it go longer and it became symbiotic. It became a clownfish and an enemy type of thing. So I think what goes on from here with Boston is you're gonna have to figure out what you're gonna do with Jaylen Brown. And we keep saying like we feel like he wants to leave.
Yeah,
We feel like he wants to be the center of attention. Like he was he number 2 or number 3 overall pick?
3.
3. Tatum was
UCLA.
2.
No, yeah, UCLA, right?
No, he went to Cal.
Cal. That's what I meant.
Was Tatum 2 or 3?
Tatum was 2. No, 3.
Okay.
Tatum was 3 because it was Markel. No, it was Ben Simmons, Lonzo Ball, and then Tatum, right?
I think so. I can't remember the draft. I just know where people went to college
Yeah.
until you stun me with some weird ones. But um you gotta they play well together. It's I don't know. They get in their heads too much. And I tell you all the time, I'm not afraid of either one of them. I'm not afraid of Jason Tatum. And Celtics fans are giving him shit. Like, bro was hurt. I had to drive back from Tennessee and I listened to the entire game. And all I heard was I went to Tennessee for Memorial Day. So
shit, that's what's up.
Yeah, so
you should have took me with you.
Huh?
You should have took me with you.
Should have, man. We had a good time out there. All I kept hearing was the announcer saying a hobble Jason Tatum. And they want to compare that to Larry Bird. Let's pump the brakes real quick, okay? Let's pump the brakes.
They're not doing that. You lying.
Let's pump the brakes.
Oh.
I already, and I'm standing by this. Jason Tatum is not on my first all-team NBA. He's a great basketball player. He's a great basketball player, but we just don't know how we want to define our list. That's it. Who's the front court? Who's the back court? What makes this player what?
Yeah, no, just pick the 5 best players.
Yeah, Jason Tatum would have been on my second team. I'm sorry. It takes time. And he's only 25 years old. It takes time. And you know, Jaylen Brown, he may be the dumbest person when I go back and look at it because he said, how many championships you're gonna have? He's like, oh, by the time what was it, 28, I might have 5 championships, whatever, is what I can see.
My bad. And just real quick, it was Ben Simmons, Brandon Ingram, Jaylen Brown for that draft. So
okay.
How's that working out, Philly?
Yeah, but I don't know where it goes from here. I think Missoula is okay. Missoula has to.
Real quick, before you get to Missoula, you know what the paycheck if he stays in Boston will be for what's his name, Jaylen Brown? 5 years, $295 million. So it sounds good to go get your own team, but he about to get $300 million. I'm not leaving. If they gonna offer me 300 M's, I'm taking the 300 M's.
I wouldn't leave, and that's something Jaylen Brown has to decide what he wants to do.
Yeah,
that's on him to decide. And if Jaylen Brown wants my respect, he would stay. And I think he's that smart because the Celtics are a few pieces away from winning it all.
But
in my
pieces, like they seem good enough to me.
I just don't think their bench is that good. Like
that's fair. That's fair.
Peyton Pritchard was groomed to be this off the bench shooting threes like a Judd Butchler or Steve Kerr, and abysmal.
I'm sorry, $59 million a year. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Anyway. Yeah. Yes, you're right. The bench that's a lot of money.
Like they struck gold. They found the right player in Derek White.
Mm-hmm.
Derek White single-handedly kept him in that game up until like the third or fourth quarter when the doors came off.
Mm-hmm.
Derek White was sinking shots, getting to the foul line. Like, you can joke about his hairline, whatever you want, but the kid's a baller, and he comes from Pop system, and everyone that comes out of the Pop system.
Exactly. Shit, even look at Lonnie Walker when he got to the Lakers. He was having a career year, and then they made a trade, and then he showed up again in the playoffs.
Yeah, so I think just the pieces. I feel bad for Al Horford because I feel like he wants to lead. Like, think about it. Jimmy Butler could be coaching the fucking Celtics right now. They played against each other in college, so it's
Al Horford is older than Joe Mazzulla. Am I right?
I think so. Yeah,
it's crazy.
So I think he tried to be like that voice of reasoning, but also like with the like, hey, I'm one of the homeboys. I hoop with y'all type of thing.
That's hard.
So and I kept hearing is like they have that black cloud of Udoka not being there anymore. They felt it like
I heard that, but that's real though. Like that came out of nowhere. Like there was, you talk about big old cards. if you told me after the season they had last year, if Udoka was not going to be on the Celtics bench coming the next season, I'd be like, hell no. So that, I mean, think about it, that's got to hurt you hard. It's like you're at your job, right? Your boss just leaves in the middle of the year without no
It's happened
warning.
to me. It's happened to me.
Think about it. It completely just shakes the whole shit up. And Udoka, again, former player, you know, he has a very commanding presence, so they respect him.
Yeah.
Mazzulla's just, I don't see it.
Yeah, and his game 5, like the cancer girl thing, that came off really weird if you hear that interview.
I didn't hear
Like, I know what he was trying to get at, but it was just like super awkward. They were like, "How do you mentally prepare?" He's like, "I hung out with a girl that had cancer, and I know that she knows that she's gonna die, and I'm gonna go out there and coach a basketball team." I'm like, Jesus Christ, man! I get the metaphor, but
Jeez,
oh
bro.
fuck, man, that was.
Al Horford is 36, and he turns 37 in 4 days.
36.
Damn.
Oh man, to me, get Gallinari back healthy. Jaylen Brown has to figure out what it is he wants to do. I hope he wants to stay because if they lose Jaylen Brown, you can put the Celtics at the back of the Eastern Conference.
But if they get, I mean, I don't know if they do like a sign and trade. I mean, they can get good value back. But the way, question, do you like instead of worrying about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and I think, and I want to see what you think, if they got themselves like a true point guard that can be a point guard, right? Get Marcus Smart off the bench to be your 6-man defensive guy, whatever. But you could go think about it. When Chris Paul goes anywhere, like I said earlier, it helps. And when you have two superstars like that, like look at my like the Bulls. Oh no, look at the what's that team called? The Heat. You have D Wade and LeBron James, right? That shit was tough. And when the point guard of that team had to realize I have to play without any ego or anything like that. Because when you're the point guard and you got superstars, all you got to do is like, all right, I'm gonna make sure you're happy and make sure you're happy. But when sometimes it's Jason Tatum, my turn. Sometimes it's Jaylen Brown, my turn. Sometimes it was Kyrie and Durant. Sometimes it was Durant and Booker. When you keep doing my turn, your turn, like I've been saying for the last few years, it does not work. It just does not work. It doesn't work. LeBron D Wade tried it, didn't work.
They rely on somebody every time.
Exactly.
And it's like, it doesn't work. And Jaylen Brown had a horrible game 7.
Yeah. And what you think about it, and you talk about Kyle Lowry, right? He don't go out there trying to score 40. He just orchestrates the team. The Boston Celtics need a grown-up, but not like a middle, not a grown-up, but like somebody who can just orchestrate and just everything is gonna be in motion. Because Mazzulla is such a good coach, he should be running plays, right? Like specific plays. So for them to expose the defense, Golden State has gone this whole time, and they don't just play one-on-one basketball. They run plays. And Boston, they have the pieces to do it. But I think if they get like a point guard, like think about it. Brogdon, he's not coming off the bench to orchestrate. He's trying to score. All these dudes, they come. I mean,
Derek White, same thing. Derek White is scoring in defense.
Yeah, they need a floor general. Where do we find that? Who's available?
I don't know. That's going to be tough, and I would agree with you on that.
Yo, they got Jalen Brunson. Ooh,
yeah. If they would have got Jalen Brunson, would have been good.
It would have been crazy.
If they would have went after Drew Holiday instead of Kyrie Irving, that would have been good too.
Another one.
That's a guy that like wild card. He could either be your leading scorer, or he could be the most efficient player on your team. So it's getting the right guy. And the thing I have with the Celtics, and my biggest, like, trust me, I like Jason Tatum. I like Jaylen Brown. Mm-hmm. Jaylen Brown's decision is going to make me understand him more and see the type of person he is. I want to root for him. He's Muslim. I love him for that. He said or I saw him pray during the game. I was like, damn, that's dope that he can do, like he does that on TV. But what gets me with them is like, I feel like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, I'm not comparing them to Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, but more of the stature.
No, that's what they're supposed to be.
No, I'm talking about like I'm living in his shadow. I'm living in his
Yeah,
shadow. And
exactly. That's exactly what it's like, because you have
that's
to, but
like
they know Tatum is. I don't think Jaylen Brown knows that, because he should think he's the guy, because he was a number 3 pick too, right? The year before, the year before. But we all know the public perception is Jason
Jason
Tatum's the guy.
Tatum.
Plain and simple. We knew Jordan was the guy. Even in like the Clippers, we know it's Kawhi. Even though he don't play, Paul George, as talented as he is, he knows it's Kawhi. Like, and Jaylen Brown doesn't. Klay Thompson, to me, is he's not the best shooter ever because he's not Steph Curry. But if Steph Curry didn't exist, he's the greatest shooter I've ever seen in my life, right? Klay Thompson knows it's Steph Curry. Like, I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna be Game 6
feel
Klay.
like there's just some people who that clicks. I get it. I know my role here, but come on, number 3 pick, both number 3 picks, like big egos, you got to match.
Yeah.
2 big egos.
But they were the best player on their teams. And a year later, they're like teammates, right?
One is like, I've been here longer, and then Kyrie comes and it's supposed to be Kyrie's team, and that fucked up a whole lot.
Kyrie really did mess it up. You're right.
Yeah, Kyrie's fucking the Joker, bro. Or not the
he
Joker.
Just be going in, just tearing down organizations left and right.
That's what he does. That's exactly what he does. I've been saying it for so long. He ruins an organization and then goes somewhere else, bro. I'm
tearing that shit down,
dude. Like,
Jaylen Brown's only 26, so you got to see it in 2 different ways, right? When we were all 26, 27, we all were probably thinking exactly how he's thinking. Like, you know what? I can go shine a little somewhere else. I think I'm ready to spread my wings. And maybe think about it. Kyrie Irving could have played with LeBron for the rest of his career. He just couldn't do it. He wanted to go be his own man, right? I think Jaylen Brown's a lot more mature than Kyrie. So I think if Jaylen Brown wants to go be the man, he can go be the man somewhere. But to me, he serves best as a very good number 2. Like Luka Doncic and Jaylen Brown, that sounds dangerous, right? Something like that. Like,
think about this. Magic Johnson goes down in the Hall of Fame as one of the greatest point guards ever. James Worthy was a number 1 overall pick too.
James Worthy
is also in the Hall of Fame as well.
James Worthy was a dog, but he understood his role.
And he knew his role, and he's still in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So think of it that way, and not to like allude to the Lakers or like throw that analogy in there, or the opposite. But like that's the thing. Look how many of those players on the Celtics team that came up together that went in the Hall of Fame together too.
Yeah.
So they've got to figure out Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's got to figure out Jaylen Brown. They got to bring role players, and Mazzulla's got to bring the right guys on his bench. And I don't know who it's going to be.
Give me a new coach. If I'm Boston, I don't want him, bro. Give me a new coach. Give me a grown up.
I think it's crazy to say that when he got you the Eastern Conference Finals and was 1 game away. Trust me. I think the guy is better fit as a assistant coach, but maybe next year they get those pieces and take it to the next level. So I would say that, but it's all hinged on what happens to Jaylen Brown for me. Because if Jaylen Brown is gone, like, we can say a sign and trade, we can say all these things, but
they still have the cap space if he leaves. So somebody's the thing about the Celtics, A, it's the Boston Celtics. B, they have a superstar. So no matter what, if Jaylen Brown's not there, somebody's going to play with Jason Tatum.
Remember, they were very shitty for a long time before KG and fucking Ray Allen pulled
up. But they had Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker. And they tried to bring in people. They just couldn't. They couldn't close the gap. And Ron Mercer. Yeah, they've always tried it. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. Trust me, Boston's a big market. Boston is also very tough. That's another thing.
My bad. Think about this. They had Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker. And remember, I said this 2 years ago. What was going to happen? What was going to happen? And it's the same situation right now.
It is. It really is.
Same situation.
It really is. And I hope, but in that aspect of things, they got rid of Antoine Walker. And, Antoine Walker got his ring with Miami. I don't think he got it with Dallas, too.
He didn't get it with Dallas.
Yeah, he got it with Miami, so
But
good for
Jaylen Brown in Miami, ooh, start the dynasty, ring the bell. The way
yeah,
he plays and that grit he has with Jimmy, oh my God.
yeah. I think it would be great, but the Celtics off season starts with him. What is going to happen with him? And if they pay him,
It's a lot
I
of
think
M's.
it's a lot of M's, and he's worth it. He's worth it. I'm granted he had a bad game 7, and I watched it wasn't side talk, but it was like a Boston guy like doing like how side talk interviews like
Yeah.
crazy fans.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you wish you come to the Knicks? They had like Boston fans out there talk about like the most boring shit I've ever heard in my life. Don't match New York's energy, Boston. Keep that shit in fucking wherever the hell you're from, Southie or whatever the fuck it is, man. Don't dog that man. Yeah, he had a bad game, but y'all had a bad game as a team. So it starts with him, it runs through him. But the real question is, how are you feeling about your head coach? That's what I want to know.
Man, am I supposed to be happy?
Me personally, I would be. I like the guy.
So as soon as
I
it
know your
happened,
take. Give him your take. Give him your
as
take
soon
because
as it happened, I got a text
I didn't even
from
text you. I wasn't gonna do it.
Ron Angelo De La Cruz, and he said congrats, and I was like, my exact response is, for what? Am I supposed to be happy? All right, Nick Nurse, and I explained it to him. Nick Nurse is essentially John Gruden. Okay,
I agree.
he came in, took over Tony Dungy's roster. He came in, took over Dwayne Casey's roster. LeBron left the East. Kawhi Leonard left the West, came up north, won a championship. John Gruden came to Tampa Bay, had the best defense ever, and then played against the team that he used to coach. He knew all this shit, won him a championship. Didn't do shit after that. And Nick Nurse won a championship, ain't done shit since then. Just, like, I understand he played with a superstar player, but Kawhi Leonard, that Kawhi Leonard was
Different
being
Kawhi
compared to
Leonard.
Michael Jordan. In case y'all forgot,
Yeah.
y'all put him at the best player in the league. So, of course, he went the hell off that year, right? I have not seen anything convincing since then to suggest that Toronto was ever even going to come close to an NBA Finals again since he's been there. And what are we doing? Like, unless they tell me that's coming with like Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet, okay, I'll be happy with that. Maybe he can recruit. I see what's his name, Gary Trent Jr. He's a free agent. And Fred VanVleet's up for a contract. If this is a way for him to lure one of them to come over, all right, then that's fine. That's fine. But as far as like everything else, I mean, he's a good coach. But he's no different to me than Doc Rivers. Same thing.
At what expense? Yeah.
2008, got lightning in the bottle. Got the first big three we've seen since like, I don't know. And they dominated the league that year. What has he done since? It's the same thing to me. Like, fool me once, shame on you, or whatever, however it goes. I've been fooled so many times with Doc Rivers that I'm already expecting to be fooled so many times about Nick Nurse. And unfortunately, I don't see what this does to make us better. Like, I get it. It's a good hire because he's a coach and that he's competent, and he's not going to be an idiot coach. I never thought he was an idiot. I just don't. He's not Eric. He's not on the plateau of. He's not on the field wherever Eric Spoelstra's at. He's not even close, right? He's not. What's his name in Mike Malone? He's not even Mike Brown in Sacramento. Like, to me, he's okay. So I just don't think it does enough for us. No, I don't think he's going to be able to get anything out of Joel Embiid that he couldn't get from Doc Rivers. like Joel Embiid's not going to play any better with having him. He's never even had a player like Joel Embiid. So like, how can he can't use anything to base it off of. So I don't know. I just hope maybe I'm getting Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. to replace James Harden. I'll be fantastic with that. But
Yeah, James
If I ain't
Harden is.
getting that or Dame, I don't really care.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I like the hire. I get the analogy. It's Daryl Morey's guy, came from that system. Um, and Daryl Morey put together some good Rocket teams. Don't get me wrong. Just
Yeah, but what happens at the end? They can't get past a team that plays real basketball.
true.
It's plain and simple.
They did get robbed that one time with what was it, OKC they play against? No, it was the
The
Warriors.
Warriors,
Yeah. I feel like
they
they
got
got
robbed because what? Chris Paul's hamstring.
yeah.
You
It's
signed. You know Chris Paul's going to be on your team. You must expect him to get hurt in the
we
playoffs.
we knew that at that point. That's when we
You
knew.
know you. I already knew that at that point. You remember, like with the Clippers, every single year, it's
That
the
is
Clippers
true.
year. It's the Clippers year. They
That is
could never get it done because he got hurt every single year. It's like,
um
yeah,
no, I mean I like the hiring. I feel like the head coaches is just like a dime a dozen now. Like if I'm NBA teams right now, I'm paying attention to what the Miami Heat are doing and paying attention to that coaching staff because like
you,
that's a good tree to
you know
start.
what? And I'm happy that you said that because what the Miami Heat are doing is that they don't just abandon ship after a bad year. They don't just go crazy because they're a well-ran organization. And I think about it, like I don't think the Lakers are very well ran. I don't think the Celtics are very well ran, or a lot of these teams, right? Frank Vogel, although I was not the biggest fan of Frank Vogel, they fired that man after 2 years after winning a championship, as if like it was his fault for everything that was happening, for them getting Russell Westbrook and trying to find a role for him. They fired Mike Budenholzer, who, although I'm not the biggest fan of, he proved that he can win a championship, and his team has been the number one seed, like or number two seed, back to back years. Did he fold this year? Yeah, I mean his best player was hurt. I mean, what do you expect? So I feel like team Dwayne Casey, I mean, just Nick Nurse too. I mean, what can he do with that Toronto team? Like it's a lot of misfit parts. So I feel like these teams are so quick to just get rid of people, right? Like, it's not working 3 years, get rid of them. Like Miami had some tough years after the LeBron and D Wade. Like it got, it wasn't as, cute and blossomy. They were winning 40, 41 games, 39 games. It wasn't anything, but they didn't just say, all right, so we're done with you, right? They kept the same shit going. The front office, everything looks exactly the same. It's like a culture there that you need to find a way to establish on all these other NBA teams because clearly you see Miami's doing something right. I mean, I think we can say maybe Denver's there now. I mean, there's a few teams that are there. I just don't like how they just. I mean, I think I forgot who mentioned it. Somebody mentioned it. He was like, the way they're getting rid of coaches so quickly.
Don't it was Doc Rivers who said it.
It was Doc.
Don't win coach of the year. That's it. That's the thing.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. There's no loyalty. Like, look at Jerry Sloan. Jerry Sloan was the coach of the Jazz for like 30 years or
Never
something.
won a championship.
Never won a championship,
But
but
hey,
rocking with it. So yeah, there's no loyalty. But I mean, for you guys, I wouldn't panic. You could have signed worse. Could have signed worse,
I
but
mean, yes, that's what I'm saying. It could have been worse. I'm not
yeah,
mad. I'm just like, I'm
yeah,
not moved.
yeah. I hope things change for you when the season starts. I hope things look good when the off season
Me
happens.
too,
So
bro.
let's see.
Me
Um,
too, dog.
let's go to the Warriors real quick because we
Not
got
not yet. Real quick, right before the Warriors. Terry, your GM.
oh yeah, who cares? That
So
guy
I'm
should
just I'm curious. Was this something that y'all saw coming, or is
we've
this
been
a
it
shock out of left field?
doesn't matter. We don't want Steve Perry gone for 30 years now, however long
That's right.
he's been
Okay.
around way too long. So yeah, get
Okay.
him out.
All right. Continue.
Yeah, the Warriors though. So what's his name? Bob Myers, is that his name?
Yeah.
Bob Myers got an extension. The Wizards tried to get him, and he was like, I think I want to stay. They want him pull the GM away
Mhm.
from the Clippers. Have fun with that, because that guy likes to paint the craziest pictures in the world that don't ever work. But Bob Myers, up for contract extension, decided his own free will, it's time to give it up.
Yeah.
Now, Me personally, I've been paying attention to this because like this guy knows how to keep a team together and get the right pieces. Just when we thought that the Warriors were done,
Mhm.
they won an NBA championship
Out of nowhere.
with the B grades of the supporting cast that was there years ago and did the same exact things. Later to find out Jordan Poole is not really the guy that we thought he was and is a childish fucking kid, which hopefully he matures and something happens or they get shit back from him. Now it's going to be a whole new look. I feel. Actually, no, I don't because they're trying to keep it in house. There's talks of them hiring the kid to run the team, and he's been working closely with him, or Mike Dunleavy Jr., who's been there before, done
Mhm.
that with that team. So I, it's all about the creative mindset of this GM of what he sees.
It's over.
You think it's over?
It's over. You
I
know why it's over? You know why he stepped down?
because he knows it's over.
Nah, it's more than that. And I mean, I don't know if it's been Woj or Windhorst, one of them. They've been reporting on it for the last 3 years. The Golden State Warriors are so deep in luxury tax money right now.
Oh yeah,
They're
yeah.
about to get hit for like 500 mil, like something crazy. Like they have no choice but to blow the shit up. Like they can't afford. I mean, they gave Jordan Poole a max deal last year. Draymond Green is up for a contract. Klay Thompson is up for a contract, and they both want max deals. Understandably so. They're Hall of Famers. You get them max deals until they don't want it no more, right? Like they put themselves in some trouble, and now they got Andrew Wiggins on it. Like they are about to be in a little bit of trouble, right? The only thing they're gonna have going for them is that Steph Curry is gonna still be there to sell tickets and shoot a lot of threes. But they go like you saw how they went 9-40 on the road this year. That shit is not going away. That's going to be the norm. Like they're going to be playing well at home because they're an offensive team right now. They don't play defense like they used to. And Bob Myers is looking at this shit like, yo, I'm about to be in cap hell. This shit about to be over. I got to make tough decisions on people's contracts and who I trade. I'm good. I'm gonna just chillax.
Yeah, he said, I want to go out like remembered as a king or as a hero, not as a villain, getting rid of
Yeah,
guys.
bro. He's
So
only 48 years old. He's about to get another job wherever he wants it. Wherever he wants it.
that's true. That's the guy the Lakers should get, man, to be honest with you. That would be the right fit. But I don't know, man. We'll see. I don't want to sit here and think about what the Warriors offseason is going to look like because personally I
Yeah,
don't care.
I'm more concerned about what do you think Golden State is about to look like? You think it's gonna look the same or this shit? Because the way I'm seeing it, like my whole like point of me like wanting to talk about this is because you said it the other day. You said it's about to look different.
It
And I
is.
really just sat there and I started listening to stuff and watching things and reading up on sportstrack.com. These people are about to be, their pockets are bleeding right now. And he paid 500, he would have to pay $500 million in like salary for for next year's team, for a team that finished in sixth place. Like their ass beat before the conference finals, and they were a sixth seed, and they couldn't win on the road.
Yeah, but they also won the NBA Finals the year before.
Yes,
Let's not
they
dog because
hit. You
Miami
say
went.
they hit lightning in a bottle. Like
They do,
every series, John
but
Morant got
it's
hurt.
still the same pieces they keep and that keep the shit going. It's not like they're not going to the Western Conference Finals every year. They
They ain't
are.
got no money, and the West is
I
getting
know.
younger.
I'm not fighting with you on that. I'm just curious. I don't want to sit here and think who's going where. But if I'm a betting man,
Blow it up.
Draymond I think Draymond Green blow it up. I think Draymond Green goes and plays with his fucking love affair with LeBron
Nah, he's
James.
going to Phoenix to go play with Durant.
I don't think he's going
He
to
going to
Phoenix,
Phoenix.
man.
Kevin Durant going trying to. Hey, come on, man! You just want a ball, right? Just come on. They got a new ownership. That's good. Come down.
No, I don't think. I think he goes to LeBron James
No,
and
bro, no, hell no. Nah.
Jordan Poole is gone, man. Like that. If I'm the first thing to
He's
move,
not gone. They just paid him.
I'm trading him for something and getting somebody on that contract.
Damn.
But I don't know. That's what I think is going
I
to
mean, I
happen.
agree with you.
But
I
I
wouldn't get
think it's
that
going to
money.
look different. I hope I'm wrong because I love this. I want all three of them to retire
Man,
Warriors.
fuck that. I
And
hope they all disappear. Michael Jordan was a Washington Wizard at the end, okay? Scottie Pippen
true.
was a Portland Trailblazer. It's all right, dog. It's all right.
But that's I think that's the most intriguing off story that we're gonna see. Like we're worried about Jaylen Brown. We need to be paying attention to what the Warriors are gonna look like next year.
Shit,
And if they
Jaylen Brown, if I'm the Warriors, I'm like, yo, Clay, or no, Draymond, we good. And they go get Jaylen Brown. He's from California. He went to Cal, right? So I'm assuming he's from California.
no, he's from Georgia. He's from Marietta.
That's right. He is. You're right. Oh shit, he's trying to come play for the Hawks. I've heard that rumor actually. I have heard that rumor. But nah, the Warriors, man, I'm sorry. Like at some point, you just know, like, and then I forgot who was talking about it, like organizational fatigue. At some point, the Bulls knew it was the last day. It's like we ain't got nothing left. Everybody's about to cost too much money. Think about it. All of them left. Phil Jackson, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, all of them gone. Steve Kerr, and I'm seeing it right now. I think Steve Kerr might be retiring a lot sooner than we think. Like his back be hurting, he's tired. He's in the hospital more than he needs to. Like the dude is worn out. He think about it, Steve Kerr had to go through the Chicago Bull dynasty, which is mentally draining because you have to be good every year. Then he played for the Spurs dynasty, and you have to be good at every year. And now he's the coach of the new age, like shoot threes team. Like that's a lot for a man to deal with in a young life. So I think he might be retiring, probably moving to the front office. Maybe
Again,
he comes back to TNT or something.
go back to front office again like he was with Phoenix.
Phoenix, right? Yeah. So yeah, this shit's over, dog. This shit's over.
We'll see. Let's talk about some other sports. So
All
it's
right.
curious. We got to pay attention to what's going
Yeah,
on.
yeah, we gonna be keeping tabs on that for sure. All right. NFL. Uh was it shocking news?
Yeah,
DeAndre
I've
Hopkins
been
getting
saying it.
released.
I've been saying it all. The biggest
Released or trade? Like which would have been more?
none. I knew he was not going to be on that
Yeah,
team.
we knew that. Yeah, but
Yeah,
released, y'all couldn't find nothing for him.
they're a dumb organization. What have I been preaching? They're stupid,
Y'all couldn't get a third round pick, a seventh round pick. You couldn't get, bruh.
bro. They hired a whole new, fresh staff of GM and head coach.
Yeah, and
This
I'm telling,
this is their first day.
I feel bad for my dog Gannon. I don't. First of all, I don't know how the hell he got a head coaching job in the NFL so quickly.
Yeah.
He's not going to do well there. But now he's going to a place that's not going to have a quarterback next year because I don't know when Kyler Murray's supposed to come back, and they don't look like they're going to be good next year either. So let's say, for example, they finish as the worst team in the NFL. You go get you Quinn Ewers or Caleb Williams or something like that. And Kyler Murray, you just trade him to somewhere else.
Bro, don't know, don't care. I'm over Kyler Murray shit, man. Like,
Yeah,
it's not a
but
leader, man.
we got to see how he responds to all this mess next year. If he's still this
Yeah.
little kid, then it's his shit.
Yeah.
His shit is his loss.
He gets a pass from me. We'll like you said, we'll see what kind of player he is when this comes up, and if shit doesn't go his way, is he going to piss and moan like he did and get another guy fired? Like,
you got to go save the Oakland A's. Somebody got to.
bro,
Somebody got to save that team.
I'm telling you, that Hard Knock shit was so hard to watch, and whenever you decide to watch it, bro,
I think I have to now.
The entire time, all I was thinking was like, they're gonna fire this man in season. They're gonna fire this man because like Cliff Kingsbury was walking through the locker room like, you guys got to get out there and play some defense.
Yeah, you can see
focus
it on the
on JJ Watt. JJ Watt is a brand new.
Remember when Kyler Murray cussed out his head coach on national TV and he ain't do nothing. He just yes sir. Oh yeah, he been walking the eggshells the whole time. When I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, he's been on eggshells. That's crazy. Like you let this little ass quarterback come yell in my face, bro. Boy, if I don't, you know what I mean? So yeah. I feel bad for them, but DeAndre Hopkins, where do you think he ends up?
I don't know, man. It's intriguing. I told you the places. that it's either Kansas City or Buffalo, and they're in a bidding
Who
war
got
right
the
now.
money? That's the question. You think he looking for money or just the ring? Or
So
both?
I was reading, it's falling down to two options for DeAndre. Is he ring chasing? And if he's ring chasing, he's gonna have to go to one of those teams.
And
If
make
he
less
wants
money.
and if he wants money, he's gonna have to go to like a non-contender or a team that's out there like the Browns. He said I'd entertain the Browns to go play with Deshaun
Deshaun
Watson
Watson
again.
campaigning for that one.
Yeah. So there's places he can go. Bill has a hard on for him. Bill wants to get the guy over there. He respects his game, but will Bill pay him is the question. And would he want to go play there? Like if I don't know. So if I'm a betting man, it's Buffalo or Kansas City. And I truly hope Kansas City goes and gets him because I
Be,
don't want to see another great player in the AFC East.
be honest.
Hmm.
Because the Jets talked to him this week.
Oh, Salah already put that to rest. He said we have good guys in the locker room that we like, and we're not
He
going to
don't
go.
make that decision. He don't
I
pay the
know he does.
bills.
I don't see him coming to us. Like, trust me, I want that. I would
No,
love it.
almost got OBJ. There's room. There's room.
It would be, but it also hampers a lot of the guys that we have on the team. Like Lazard won't get his targets and things like that. So, and these are Aaron's guys. I don't know if Aaron likes DeAndre like that. I'm not sure. So,
I mean, he's still Aaron Rodgers. We saw it with Tom Brady. Just come play with me and come
yeah,
get you a ring.
and at the same time, we always preach that why did Devontae Adams not want to be there? He was over the shit. Maybe those guys that are like in that same draft bubble and like they're like they talk to each other like this guy's fucking way too much. You don't want to go play with him.
But people do. There's been a lot of players who come to his defense. Like Aaron Rodgers is the most split locker room person. Like he either has people who hate him for like Greg Jennings did not like him, right? Like he made that clear. I don't remember if it was Donald Driver too. There's a few people from that team too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Devontae just probably didn't like him. But then Aaron Jones loves him. You know what I mean? Like Aaron Jones loves Aaron Rodgers. So it's like,
Yeah, I get that. I mean, if I'm the Jets, if we have them, no, take it back.
ooh,
Get the Quentin Williams stuff is like almost done. Get that shit done first, and if this man is still available, then reach out and say, "Listen, we signed the final piece, and we thought that was the final piece. Now you're the final piece. Come play with us. Let me be on the sales team. I can sign this guy for you. I'm looking for a job, so I can sign this motherfucker for you."
sounds so
Um,
easy, but you ain't
it
take it
it
to a strip
does.
club. You gotta show him the strippers. You gotta
It
show
does.
him the nightlife.
No. He's not that type
I'm
of
just
guy.
playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
I know
I'm
that,
just.
but I know that there's certain guys you
I'm just
definitely have
thinking,
to
like
that with.
Jesus Shuttlesworth. Oh, he got game. You gotta
Yeah.
you gotta show him. You gotta show him what he could get coming here first.
Um, it'd be nice, but if I'm a betting man, it's one of those two teams, and I'm hoping it's Kansas City because
Nah, I can't. Nah, I'm not doing this again.
I don't want him in my division, bro.
Nah, I don't want to see this man. I don't want to see this man Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl next year because I'm already claiming it. But I mean, what do you? I'm what do the kids say now? When you when you embrace something like you are speaking into existence. What is that word?
Manifesting.
Manifest. I'm manifesting it right now. I'm manifesting it. In the AFC, I don't want to see DeAndre Hopkins and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I don't want to see that for any means. Where I want him to go, Baltimore Ravens.
They're not going to
If
do
he
that.
can't come home to Philly, I would love for him to go to Baltimore Ravens.
Mm. We'll see. Curious. I'm betting. If I'm betting, I'm saying Buffalo or Kansas City because they're like literally fighting each other and shit.
For the
I'm
little
sure
bit
there's
of chicken change they got, come play for your boy AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, baby. Come on down to Philly. You know where it's at.
I'm pretty sure there's a guy from Kansas City flying to Buffalo to cut the fucking telephone lines over there, so they can't make any calls and shit.
Man, that's dirty. That's dirty. But we were just speaking about Devontae Adams, and then Darren Waller is not there anymore. Josh McDaniels is there now, and they sucked last year. Jimmy Garoppolo is there, and he has a waiver in his contract about his foot. He just got foot surgery. The Raiders seem to be in a lot of disarray. Devontae Adams said he didn't see eye to eye with with the coaching decisions that they made. Josh McDaniels, came out and said, so and so, like it's only May, right? And I've been hearing way too many Raider stories already for a team that didn't even make the playoffs last year. So and then Darren Waller said what he say, like, they value my opinion here with the Giants. So where's the disconnect with the Raiders? Like, what do you think is going on over there? I haven't seen the 30. I haven't seen the not the 30 for 30, the hard knocks on them. So
a lot of finger pointing. That's what I've noticed. It's a lot of finger pointing over there in that organization. And I think McDaniels is just like sick of living in Big Brother's shadow and wanted to get out and got his ass kicked. Again, going to an NFL team, being a coach, he's just not. He's an offensive coordinator, and that's all I'm going to see him as. Is a great offensive mind, but he's showing that he can't keep a locker room together so much that Tom Brady has now bought equity into the Raiders. And there's word that I was reading today that and I don't think it's true, but it's also Tom Brady. He's a wild card, that he could be mentoring a quarterback, being partial owner and mentoring the quarterback staff there as well.
He gonna come down and play next year like Michael Jordan did. He got ownership of the Wizards. Like, you know what? I'm about to lace him up real quick.
Exactly.
That's what he's gearing up for.
It would not surprise me if that happened.
And the Super Bowl's in Vegas next year. Am I wrong?
Think so.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Where is the Super Bowl next year? Continue.
It's I don't know. I've been noticing, and I think we've been paying attention to it as a whole. Like it's just we sit here and we paint the beautiful pictures of Max Crosby and Darren Waller.
Las Vegas is correct.
Continue. What they've done and had to overcome to be where they are in their career. Just for you to give up and ship out Darren Waller for peanuts, and it just doesn't smell right. You had we've gone over this numerous times. The Ruggs incident, the John Gruden, loves to say the N-word casually through email to people. Giving up on Derek Carr.
What was his name? Bisaccia or whatever, the coach that got him to the playoffs after the season looked like it was lost, and then it just it's all right, cool. We don't want you.
The ray of sunshine comes down and it's out, and then they just fucking take a dog shit with a ray of sunshine. That. Incognito signing, you bring that type of player into there. It doesn't smell or sit right in Vegas, and I feel like Vegas is what I've been saying and preaching. They're going through an identity crisis too. They're doing what Vegas does, or Oakland in the past before. They were, when they went through that dry spell of being really shitty. Yeah. They're signing big names, but not putting a good team together. Like Devontae Adams is great. He's going to get his numbers, but this is going to hamper his career a little bit. This isn't going to look good for him. Being with Aaron Rodgers was good for your career, no matter how batshit crazy the guy is. But Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy Garoppolo, as vanilla yogurt as he is, as I always say, you don't get that explanation. Like vanilla yogurt, you love it. Everyone loves vanilla yogurt.
Vanilla yogurt is fire.
It is fire. But I mean, at the same time, there's no fruit chunks in it. It's just vanilla yogurt.
I don't care. That shit fire.
All right, so you love Jimmy Garoppolo then, and it's just
I do not though. I absolutely do not. I'm not a porn star.
Exactly. He's fucking porn stars. He's in Subway commercials. I don't know. They're going through a identity crisis.
But you know what sucks though is that
I don't care.
The WNBA team is fantastic. The hockey team is fantastic. They're both one just won the championship. One's in the World Stanley Cup right now, and they got this shit show in the brand new stadium that they just built. Like, that's about to host a Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, I feel like all the moves they make are panic moves. Like, we got rid of John Gruden. What we got to do? Oh my God, this guy. We got to go get him because he's under Bill's tree and this and that. Historically, you leave Bill's tree, you don't do good. There's been like one or two guys that have done well.
They got rid of Khalil Mack. These idiots.
No, they didn't get rid of John Gruden.
John Gruden, this idiot. But no, somebody had to agree with him upstairs. Like Al Davis or Mark Davis did not say, yeah, you go ahead and
The
do that.
Antonio Brown incident, the motherfucker froze his feet off. They kept him. Then he went to practice and then called the GM a
Dog, he cursed
cracker.
the team. Ever since he showed up, it's been disgusting over there.
No, since John Gruden pulled up, it's been bad because he uncovered all of that.
They heard shit from him since then.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's brewing in Vegas, but pay attention to Tom Brady getting chunk of that organization, and I really don't know. I don't want to sit here and pontificate on what's going on over there. Yeah, I don't want to sit there and think about what's going on. Like, truthfully, it's an identity crisis, and it's what I preach. It's a shitty organization. Al Davis, rest in peace. His brother Mark is got a shitty hairpiece. It looks like Tyler the Creator's piece when he goes on the VMAs and the Grammys, and he just likes to look good. And you put that team together, and it's just not championship caliber team. You got no O-line, you got no defense, and you're letting good players go. Like Derek Carr should still be there. You should have been putting the right pieces around Derek Carr.
He didn't want to be there though. He said he didn't want to be there. They showed that man too much shade for all the shit he put them through. I mean, they put him through.
And the best part is like he went out there and took all that shit.
Yeah,
he took all that shit. And
he's about to have a Drew Brees resurgence over in New Orleans.
I pray it for him because I want to be a big fan of Derek Carr. I can't hate the guy. He's not like Jimmy Butler, but like I can't hate him. Guy literally.
If you think about it, he can very well have the same career because Drew Brees was a San Diego Charger at one point,
but not long. He wasn't
there. He was there 4 or 5 years.
No, I don't think that long.
Right, he was there
like 2 or 3 years.
Nah, bro, he played out his rookie contract.
Okay, then understandable, but yeah, it just doesn't smell right. Just like Arizona, those are two organizations that I'm just
Who knows worse?
Oh, Arizona for sure.
Okay. They had a pretty good draft.
Doesn't matter. It starts at the owner. The owner is already getting popped for like rape allegations and shit like that.
5 years, by the way.
Oh, okay. But it could very well happen for him. So we'll see. But yeah, Arizona's is much worse.
Arizona's can't smell there. I mean, shit, Phoenix Suns too. Like shit has not smelled good in the state of Arizona for some time right now. So before we get into some baseball and wrap it up, is there any other because I know I asked last week, just kind of things we're following, but specifically in the NFL, there's still a lot of things going on, like Zeke doesn't have a team yet, and just different things. Like what are you kind of like watching for this summer? Any decisions?
No, Aaron Rodgers returned to practice. His ankle is good. The most intriguing thing right now is really the DeAndre Hopkins signing of like what route he chooses, and whatever route he chooses, I'll respect it because I think the guy's a class act. He's definitely a big mama's boy. He's never
just used some steroids, but yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. That was one thing. I still think like even he addressed that in the show. But I think he's a class act. If you want to chase money, go get your money, bro. Like he uses it for good. I trust whatever decision he'll make will be for the best for him. I don't know, man. Yeah, I got nothing for you of what I'm keeping tabs on other than that. I'm just ready for the Jet season to start. I've never been more ecstatic in my life.
The one thing, more so because it impacts, my situation as an Eagle, I really want to see what the Washington football command, whatever, that team, what Washington does moving forward past Dan Snyder, right? Yeah. Prior to Dan Snyder, the Washington Redskins at the time were a fantastic football team. Like they made the Super Bowls. They they were a very well-established team and won playoff games and all that stuff. And since Dan Snyder was there, I think they won like 2 playoff series. That was it. Like 2 playoff games or whatever. I mean, like they have underperformed drastically under Homeboy, and now that he's gone, who's also now how he impacts me is double way. He's the owner of Washington football team, and then he's also the owner of the or the president for the Philadelphia 76ers. So we have him in our locker room now and in Washington, and then the Eagles have to worry about Washington being better. So I want to see what they do with Chase Young. Everyone's talking about how great Sam Howell is. I want to see what the hell is up with that.
Ooh, one I got for you. I got one.
What's up?
They're I've been reading a lot of shit with the beat writers, and one that I've been seeing is like we're gonna get a breakout year from Terrence Marshall, apparently, of the Carolina Panthers, is what I've been seeing from a lot of people.
Because of Bryce?
I don't know if it's because of Bryce. They're just saying that like he was hampered by what's the dude they traded away
DJ
to?
Moore.
Yeah, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson there and all of
I
that.
actually agree with you. I agree with you. I think if Bryce is ready, I think he could have a very solid year. I think he could be a number one. I think he could, honestly.
Okay. Well, that's one
thing.
thing.
Does he play where? He was at what? The LSU? He was at LSU, right?
I think so, or Florida, one of the two. I don't know where he came from. LSU, yeah.
LSU, yeah. So he was with that group of dominant receivers.
Yeah, so like they've just been saying that, and one thing I've been reading from a lot of beat writers, because like I've been trying to see like who's going to be on breakout, and like they were giving like each team's one. They said Blankenship for y'all, by the way.
Rodrigo, yo, I told you about Blankenship. You didn't trust me. I told you he's a dog for real, dog.
So that was just on one, but like a lot of beat writers was like, oh, that's one thing I was like curious, like who's going to be a breakout one? I was like, damn, that's kind of intriguing to think that. And I was like, oh, they got rid of everything. I'm like, well, they did get rid of the whole receiving core or the big guy in the receiving core, but it allows this guy to improve. And if I'm not mistaken, was he a first round pick or a second round pick?
Probably, I think it was second. He's either late first or second.
Yeah, I'm curious. All right, go to next topic. Let's go.
I mean, the next topic is yours. I'm looking up my fantasy team, just so y'all know. I'm looking at one of my fantasy teams from last year because we do 3 keepers. And I'm trying to remember if I still had Terrence Marshall on the roster, and I do. So therefore, that's going to be my keeper probably. We'll see. We'll see. I got Breece Hall too. I don't know. I don't see what I do with that. You think Breece Hall gonna be good for you?
Oh yeah, I think he's gonna be good.
You think he's healthy?
Yeah, I think he's healthy. His work ethic, I see him all the time in the videos. He's there, he's doing stuff. They're skeptical he'll be ready to go for week 1. And like they love Michael Carter. They love it's a shame that they have to like give the reins to him, but they're happy like that he knows his role. Like
it'll be like an Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams situation.
Yeah. Like he knows his role, but they also have Bam McKnight, and I don't know how he's gonna feel. So we'll see. But yeah, I think he'll be good to go. So let's talk some baseball though, because I'm ready for that.
Hey, take it over. We're 2 months in. You know, what are y'all sitting at right now, record wise?
We're third. We're 1 game behind the Orioles, and we're 5 games behind the Rays. So
the Orioles are quietly just having a really good year. Like I've not heard anybody say a word about the Orioles, and they're having a solid season right now. So y'all in third in a very tough AL East. We suck. We just lost to Carlos Carrasco, 9.23 ERA. We're 5 games under 500, and yeah, we're doing bad. But anyway, so thoughts? What's going on? Where you at?
Nothing. I told you I'm content with the team. Once we get healthy, we're ready to roll. And you know, we DFA'd Aaron Hicks. The Orioles picked him up. They just signed him today, played game 1, and went out with a hamstring injury. If there's anybody I feel bad for is Aaron Hicks, because we signed him to a big deal, and he just got outplayed by a lot of guys, and it fucked with his head. And why Judge is the captain is because Judge was holding him under his like shoulder, saying like, you're gonna go through shit, but we got your back. You know, you gotta put everything out there. And I just don't think he could do that for the team. So Aaron Hicks is gone, but we're slowly getting healthy. I think Donaldson is about to come back, which I don't care. Get rid of that guy. I can't stand him. But if he comes back and is like somewhat of a shell of himself, it'll be good numbers for us. Because we're not getting a lot of production out of third base for consistency. Um, Volpe, man, if that kid can fix his batting average, he'll be great, man. Like he's an unsung hero
He
in a lot.
shows flashes that I'm like, damn, I wish I knew about him before. Because like
I've
my
known
coworker
about
tried to tell you too. You and my coworker were like, yo, this kid, we got this kid Volpe. I was like, man, who the fuck is that
they just
man?
wanted to compare him to Jeter so much, and
Yeah,
I was
just
like,
don't do that.
don't do
Don't do
that. Yeah,
that.
like this.
You're setting yourself up for failure when you're comparing somebody to Derek Jeter. Like, think
Yeah,
about it. Michael Jordan. He's gonna be the next Jordan. But you know how hard that is for everybody? Like, it's hard.
it is. But when he gets it figured out, he'll be good. I just need him to bat more than 200, man. What else?
The
Um,
Rays,
they're they're still number one, but like
yeah.
they're coming back down to earth. They're losing games, so
They're
batting
only 4 games ahead
average,
of the Orioles.
yeah, batting averages five behind us. We're on pace to sweep the Mariners tonight, hopefully. Um,
I just hope Julio Rodriguez hits another dinger.
Clark Schmidt is pitching for us, so you know how I feel about him.
Mark Schmidt.
I need
That's how I
that
feel
guy.
about Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, I need Clark Schmidt. No, I'd rather Ranger Suarez than Clark Schmidt.
Nah, bro. Trust me. I don't want.
Everybody's got one. Everybody's got one. Mine is Clark Schmidt, so I get it. Um, yeah, the Rays, they've got the lead, but it's not 20 something games anymore. It's coming back down to
Yeah,
earth.
but I still think they're the best team in the AL. Like, even with them coming back down to earth,
I disagree.
I watch them and I look at what they can do from a pitching standpoint, and offensively, 340 runs scored, 340, like
It's impressive. Don't get me
it's
wrong.
crazy.
But
Dog.
Moneyball will win you games and won't win you
2 months.
I mean, I trust me. I'm not rooting against the Rays, even though I'm a Yankee fan. I love baseball. I'm only rooting against the Red Sox. Of course, I'm rooting for the Yankees to win it all. I want the Rays to be successful, but it's about getting those pieces that are going to make you a little bit better. Yes, they're producing now, but when postseason comes and you score one run, it
But
ain't going
I
to
know
get
that
done.
offense looks legit now. But you said you disagree. Who do you think in the AL is better?
No, I just think they all got each other figured out because they see each other so many times, and it's like the Orioles were like, "We're sick of getting our ass kicked in this. Now we're gonna go get better." And they went and got pieces, and they're obviously better. And the worst team, in my opinion, and everyone wants to say they're World Series contenders every year, is the Blue
Blue
Jays.
Jays.
The Blue Jays, like they have little brother mentality so bad.
Yeah, this is really bad.
Just like I tell you, the Padres is like they want to go to the World Series. No,
Yeah.
their goal is to beat the fucking
It's
Dodgers,
Dodgers.
and that's what the Blue Jays is. That's what the Blue Jays is. We had
The
Julian.
Padres are 25-30. Like, what the hell?
Yes, yes, they're
What
not.
the hell?
They get guys that just aren't good for each other on the team.
It makes
Like
no
granted,
sense.
granted, Tatis and Machado and Soto are all Dominican, but Machado and Tatis are like American Dominican, and Soto is like from the Campo.
He's from he's from
So
he's from Punta Cana, bro. Like he's
yeah,
from
man,
like
like
in there.
you didn't have to go get him, but you did, and I'm not taking away from what they did, but it shows the reflection of their standings and where they are in them. But the Blue Jays, like they're big letdown. Julian from the spectators when he was on here, and I saw it too. Vlad Guerrero got beat by a position player
The
on the Rays.
59 miles an hour.
Yeah, and then he hit a grand slam like it counted for something when they were up by 20 runs. Like, come on, man. So I think the AL East is always going to be competitive. Like that, everyone in that division has a competitive record. But
And y'all could blame yourselves for that. Because like y'all was so dominant for so many years, everybody was like, "No, we ain't dealing with this
yeah,
shit no more."
everybody wants to beat the Dodgers. Everybody wants to
Yeah.
beat the Yankees. I get that
That's what
shit.
happened. That's what happened to Los Angeles. When you think about it, like after Kobe won his second one as a without Shaq, the West loaded the hell up. I feel like everybody just got better in the West. Like everybody was fine in the West, and the Lakers have not been a good team since then. Like they've been okay, but they have not been a good team since then. So
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
absolutely. And I mean, the Dodgers for a while were really, really bad
yeah.
until they started putting the pieces together.
Well, how many World Series they got in the last 10 years? One.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make sense. Some things still don't make sense.
I know, but it's also about clicking. Teams get hot and they just go like you got to love the beauty of how sports happens and it knocks off like the Miami, like we've been talking about the Miami Heat knocking off juggernauts to get where you
Yeah,
are.
y'all got the Dodgers next, by the way.
Yeah, I know. We took care of the Padres, no problem. Fuck them. So, but the Dodgers are scary. Don't get me wrong. I fear them. They're a real team. The Rays are a real team. It's a lot of interesting things going on in baseball. I could sit here and talk it all day, but we want to focus on All Star bidding, which is out now. You can go vote for your favorite All Star players, and I think you and I want to give a rundown of what we have.
No, I'm just letting you go, bro. Like, who
You
are
want me
your?
to go?
Like, yeah, I want you. This is your segment right now. I want you
Okay,
to
all
go.
right.
Yeah.
So I didn't homer any of these, by the way. This is how I look at all stars when I do it. The first thing I look at is your batting average. That's the first thing I do. Are you hitting the ball efficiently? Second thing I look at is RBIs. Third thing I look at is home runs. And then fourth is whatever is exciting that makes you an exciting player. If you've stole 100 fucking bases by the all-star time, you deserve to be an all-star.
I would also say like, no, continue.
Yeah, I mean that's what I look at because we can't vote for pitchers. They're
Yeah.
going to pick the pitchers, and um, what pissed me off in this is they have Otani as a designated hitter and Jordan Alvarez in the outfield, and yeah, that kind of is a little bit wishy washy. Even though Alvarez has been playing in the outfield a lot, but we all know Otani's going to get picked for the DH position most
I
likely
know.
and he's going to be a pitcher. So someone's going to get screwed if that happens. So I think we need to find out where Otani goes, and if not, the second guy gets the nod for that
Why
position
is Jose Abreu a nominee?
because he's a
No,
starter for the team.
but
Yeah,
he's
they
trash.
choose all the starters for the teams. That's why.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Jose Abreu's not having a good year, but he got his first home run the other night. All right, so let's start at first base. Like I said, I'm not homering these. I'm going based off of it, and it was between
Anthony
two.
Rizzo.
It is Anthony Rizzo,
Oh my
only for the
God,
fact.
it's so predictable.
No. I'm really not. I want to give it to Vlad, but I look at the numbers, and he's got 11 home runs. The Vlad's what, 8? And he's got
Yeah,
more RBIs. He's got more RBIs, and he's hitting 304. That's good. That's good to me. I look at the batting average first. So I look at that, and his OPS is higher too, I think. Or actually, I think Vlad's is a little higher. So I went to Anthony Rizzo.
How about but Anthony Rizzo? Yeah, I mean, what about Yandy? Their stats are
Oh,
comparable:
yeah,
310, 12
yeah,
home runs, 30 RBIs,
yeah.
990 OPS.
I would actually. I take it back. I'd give it to Yandy. Yandy would be my vote. I've totally looked at the
Let's
overlooked,
go. I
but
got you the
also,
clip.
yeah, but also Yandy's been hurt a lot. But I'm not going to take
Yeah,
that away from him. I would give it to Yandy. I'll flip that.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's a dog right now.
I'll give it to Yandy. Plus, he's on one of my fantasy teams. So,
Fair.
um, National League. This one's a little bit painful to me, but I have to give respect where respect is due. He's leading the league in home runs. He's
Playing high school.
in playing high school. Yeah, fuck it. Pete Alonso will be mine for the NL.
20 home runs already, dog.
And 48 RBIs.
You'll get
You gotta
tested.
respect that.
You'll get tested.
Second base for the American League, I'm gonna go with, and there's a lot of lackluster guys at second base,
Yeah, for real.
but the one that stands out to me, 44 RBIs, a 295, that's almost 300, 8 home runs is Marcus Simeon for me. That's gonna be my block in this.
Yeah, and the Rangers are playing well.
And the Rangers are playing well. Third, I mean for the National League for second, the guy's almost hitting 400. I know he's missed some games, and I know his number line doesn't look great. 1 home run and 20 RBIs, but he's batting 376. So I'm giving it Arias. That would be the guy that I give it to.
Hell no.
You're crazy.
I'll give that.
376.
I'll give that shit to what's his name, Ozzy Albies.
Ozzy Albies he's gonna be on there, but
Yeah, no, I'm giving that shit to him,
376 is fucking impressive.
bruh.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't care. My dog got 36 RBIs and 11 home runs.
Okay, that's impressive. I get it. What's he batting though? Is it 300?
251 is not terrible.
Okay, it's not. It's above, average. I'm not taking away from Albies. You said to give me mine, so I'm
All
giving
right, I mean, I got you.
the batting champion from last year, the batting champion.
I
So
got you. I mean, shoot, G1 Bay got like 15 steals this year.
it's true, but I'm
All right,
not.
continue. You got it. All right, go ahead.
Third base, this one like it was weird because I was like, oh shit, third base is a power hitting position. There's a lot of good players
Ain't that
there.
many home runs. You're right.
Huh?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, but like I wanted to give it to Jose Ramirez, and then I look at Josh Young's number, and I'm like, I can't not give it to him. The guy's batting 295, 12 home runs, 37 RBIs. Like, there's a reason, and he's got an 872 OPS. So I cannot not give it to that guy. The numbers look good. It's just a rookie player
It's
playing a full
weird.
season. Yeah, so that would be mine. It'll probably go to Jose Ramirez at the end of the day. But
No,
looking
I'm
at
giving that shit to Isaac Paredes, dog. I'm
no,
going Rays all over. Let's go.
yeah, because your team sucks. You wouldn't be doing this if that were the
Hey,
case.
hold up now.
Um, for the National League, this one was a little bit hard for me to vote this way. Obviously I could change it. I see him more as a DH, but I mean, fucking 17 home runs and 40
Yep.
RBIs. I got to give it to my dog Muncie, man.
Muncie. So I wasn't thinking about it until like he came to Tampa. So like I'm watching him. I'm watching him play. I'm like, yo, this dude is guy's nice, dog.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
slot,
he was nice, dog.
but he's a big focal. He had a bad year last year, and he's making it up. But his batting average is usually what it is, around low
Oh
200.
nine.
Yeah, so um, shortstop, it's a no brainer in both of them. Bo Bichette, dude's batting 331, so
Jeez.
11 home runs, 38
I should
RBIs.
have kept him. I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Boba, trust me, I wouldn't expect this from him. The kid's been like, this
God.
is his breakout year finally.
I picked him first overall last year, with all the keepers, and he wasn't as good as I wanted him to be last year. He
Yeah.
still led the league in hits. Like, damn.
Shortstop, and the other one is Francisco Lindor. 227 is sucks, but 10 home runs, 40 RBIs. Like that's a lot for a shortstop. So that would be my pick there for shortstop.
Yeah, Trey Turner letting me down, dog.
Yeah, Trey Turner is being very, very quiet this year, and I'm hoping he picks it up.
All that money we paying him, dog.
Yeah, catcher. I'm going in the American League. Dude that surprised me. I didn't know he was going to be this good. Jonah Heim, 282, 6 home runs, 39 RBIs. I mean, it's pretty efficient for a catcher, man.
Yeah.
So I'm giving it to him. There wasn't another guy at the catcher position there that I was like, oh, I'm blown away by that. Um, in the National League, Sean Murphy, all he had to do was leave Oakland and he'd be good.
Yeah.
286, 11 home runs, 38
What
RBI.
about Will Smith? 311, 8 home runs,
I,
30 RBIs. 311 as a catcher.
I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. I wanted to put Will Smith. I know he'll be there. Diaz also has a fair shot. Look at the kid from Colorado. He's got good numbers too. But I'm just proud Sean Murphy is like they told us he was a good
Yeah.
catcher.
Yo, Elias
And
Diaz, you're right. Yeah.
when you put protection around him, he's showing you what he can do. And in Oakland, he was a 220, 230, 240 hitter, and now he's batting almost 300. So like I will reward that with an all-star vote for me.
Yeah.
Um Now outfield always
My
sucks.
favorite part. Let's go.
All right.
Can I guess one of your three?
You know one already.
Is it Jordan?
I did not put Jordan on this.
Ooh, I know Randy's gonna be one.
Randy is
Give
one.
your case. Give your case.
Because Jordan would have my vote if he was put at DH, and Shohei Ohtani shouldn't be put on there. Shohei is going to be a pitcher, but they're going
Correct.
to
Correct.
so
Correct.
he's robbing somebody of something. So when we get to DH, that's my rebuttal. Is I would vote for Yordan Alvarez at
As a
that.
D. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I didn't vote for him here. I gave it to Randy. I love the man. 297, 11 home runs, 40 RBIs, 920 OPS. Good God. Like that's all-star numbers right there, and he deserves to go and be a starter. Aaron Judge, you know I'm voting that
Of
man. The best
course.
in
Of
baseball.
course.
Not even a homer pick. You know it too.
No, of course, bro. You don't gotta tell me.
Um, and then the last one, I mean, I went down the list and like I'm sorry, I'm giving it to the guy. Like the All-Star game is not exciting without him. Mike Trout needs to be there. You got to put Mike Trout there. You know, just when you write him off,
Off the strength, yeah, just
yeah,
278. I mean, still, it's like we're calling it a down year, 278, 13 home runs, 31 RBIs already. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
He would be my guy. For the outfield on the opposite end, um, it's pretty boring outside of Acuna, to be honest with you. Outside of Acuna, like the outfield is very
James
boring.
Outman,
Huh?
my dog James Outman, the young buck,
James, he doesn't deserve to go. As
the young
impressive
buck.
as an impressive season as he's having, I wouldn't give it to him. But Ronald Acuna definitely goes for me. I went Pirates route on this. I went Brian Reynolds on this because he's definitely having a good year. 284, 7 home runs, 36 RBIs. Like that's impressive. And then my
Um, yeah, continue.
and then my last one, I went Juan Soto because, like I said, I wasn't impressed with anybody out there. But Juan Soto and Brian Reynolds are easily changeable for me. I'd love to hear what you would pick if you went outfield.
I mean,
There's nothing impressive when you look at the numbers
I
of all.
like. I mean, as a homer, I've been watching Nick Castellanos closely, and he's been a rock for us this year from a defensive standpoint, and he's starting to hit again too. So
Yeah, but what is that?
and of course Acuna too, right? And then I
Hmm?
probably just go Mookie Betts and just call it a day.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot Mookie. Yeah.
Mookie's
Sorry.
252, 13 home runs, 13. I mean, he's fine,
Take,
dog.
take Juan Soto out and put Mookie Betts there for
Yeah,
me.
I'm good with that. But yeah,
That's what.
I like what my dog Castellanos has been doing. So I go Castellanos, Mookie for sure, and then Acuna.
I don't know why I didn't put Mookie in there. That's
Yeah,
like
man, you crazy.
yeah. The DH spot I went Shohei Ohtani. But if it were me, it'd be Yordan Alvarez. That'd be the guy voting for that position. And then in the American League or in the National League, like Soler's having a pretty good year.
Yes.
250, 17 home runs and 35 RBIs. So that would be my all-star voting right there. And then starting pitcher for each, I would say
Dave
Mc-
McClanahan.
McClanahan versus I don't know who's good out wet or in the National League. One of the kids from the Braves, that Bryce Elder kid, man, he's having a good year.
Hold on. What about Zach Gallen?
Or Zach Gallen, one of the
Yeah,
two.
I'll probably say like Zach Gallen.
I don't think it'll be him though, but we'll
What do
see.
I know? I know
Oh,
for sure it ain't gonna be Sandy. I don't know what the hell happened to Sandy.
exposure, man,
Yeah.
exposure. Oh well, but that's
That's
my.
all, folks. What you got for me, A Rod? Where do we find the Fair Weather Podcast?
You can find us on Twitter at fair_weather pod. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Search the Fair Weather Podcast. And wherever you subscribe or listen to podcasts, you can catch the audio there as well. Words of wisdom, what you got?
Word real quick, off of what Julian said last week about the WNBA, where I was watching the Las Vegas
Ooh, hold on. Monty Williams hired by the Pistons.
they gave him that money. They said like a
They
10-year
gave
deal, right?
they
Yeah, go
gave
get that.
that
Go get that shit,
six
dog.
year, 6 year, $72 million.
Oh, six? Okay. Hey,
It's a lot.
it's gonna be a shit show down there. So good luck. But yeah, WNBA basketball right now is at its peak. And like go watch a Las Vegas game and definitely watch a New York Liberty game. The New York Liberty, bro, they are fucking fantastic to watch. So if I don't have a WNBA team, I don't know. I gotta figure out which one I'm gonna be super supportive. I typically support players though, but go watch WNBA. It's about to be June. Pay your rent and your mortgages and stuff, and be safe in this hot summer heat of Tampa, Florida. All right, that's all I got. Peace.